Aquarius. I think it's saying here it's okay to kind of, maybe you did have a trying time and you're like, yeah, I'm trying to get out there, but like maybe it is a good time to have rest as well, right? You don't have to be in the big mix of things, whatever that might be. All right. Temperance card, Sagittarius. We just had the Sagittarius full moon. Fire and air with the Aquarius is complementary. Then you have Six of Swords over this 9. So you could be moving away from some drama. Yeah, talk about drama. Five of Swords. So if somebody finds out, or, the energy is kind of like there might be people that are irritated knowing that you might be kind of busy, with a new person. Okay. I'm not going to say it could be an old person because I feel like this is very much new energy. I feel like some of this is the old energy where you're just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that anymore. You're like, I've moved on, I'm moving on, and that's about it, kind of thing. Okay. So, ooh, look at that. Queen of Cups again, the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy.
in the deck here today. And look at that on the bottom, the Empress card. So um, maybe you are, more of like a water sign who is that Empress. Okay. I think a lot of people want to say, oh, well, somebody's who's in that water sign energy, they're gonna be needy, or they're gonna have to depend on somebody else. But the Queen of Cups is also the nurturing energy, which is the caretaking. So to me, that person very well could be an Empress, right? So yeah, here's the Hierophant. Oh, look, Lovers again. Somebody could definitely be getting hitched. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. But it's definitely like you're running into a strong possibility. You could also already be with somebody if you're watching this reading. I mean, on my statistics, I'm assuming it's more singles that are watching than partnered people, but I don't know. It's hard to say this day and age. Some of my readings are different than others. They're not all the same. Anyway, what else do we have for you guys today? I don't know if I want to do this Lover's Oracle deck. Sometimes it's like I don't feel like there's as many good messages in it as there needs to be, else I'm just not drawing them. But I feel like I've gone through every card in this deck because I did an unboxing video when I first got these. Anyway, so this will probably be more focused. This could be focused on karmic energy. I'm just going to say it's more of a little bit of a karmic deck. So I'm just saying. Not saying, I'm just saying. Be prepared if you're still watching. Okay, so we might find out more about this Eight of Swords here. I feel like, collective, maybe this is how that person is feeling right now. I feel like you've gotten yourself unstuck from that. The feeling boxed in, feeling tied down, feeling whatever. Okay. I don't know who I am anymore. Okay, so somebody could be suffering from an identity crisis. What is the truth? Now everybody wants to, it's a personality problem, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then they go on all these medicines, right? I don't know. In the 80s, people just bought a sports car, called it a midlife crisis. Maybe they got divorced and called it a day. I don't, again, partnered versus unpartnered people out there, I don't see the rate of divorce going like down necessarily. I mean, I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just saying, like, statistically speaking, right? So this is more common, right, than people want to admit, right? Because if they don't admit it, then they can hold on to the, oh, everything's perfect and la la la, and here's our anniversary photo or whatever, and and yeah, see, this person is saying, what is the truth? So you might be kind of resting, reflecting. They might as well. They might be saying to themselves, okay, well, if that's not the happiness that I desired, then what is that happiness, right? And I feel like, collective, you're finding it here already. This is also giving me, it's just giving me like a group energy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like blood relation. You know what I mean? Sometimes, as we grow older, it's, family and friends. Some people have like a Friendsgiving type stuff. Because sometimes, not everybody can afford to hop on a plane every, you know what I mean? That's become so ingrained in part of our culture too. But what is the truth? The truth is sometimes people moved away and then they never went back. Right? Okay. I'm better with my mind than my heart. Okay. This person is saying, so if they are an Aquarius or have Aquarius in their chart, even Sagittarius as well, I feel like is more known for making head over heart decisions. I know they say like Sagittarius male is kind of more that non-committal, but trust me, they're going to have their vehicle. They're going to have their house or their apartment. Like, there's other things that they have going on there because they're not depending, trying to depend on somebody else. And I feel like that's what maybe was giving somebody some anxiety, and they got out of, and they were just like, I got to get out of that. And here it says, maybe there were kids involved, but you have to do what's best for you. Okay. It is dark without you, they are saying. So there's somebody who misses you, collective. Okay. I feel like you might be saying this as well, being better with your mind than your heart, because you might realize that, being around this person wasn't good for you, right? And you're like, look, I have to make a head over heart decision here. Do what advice would you have given, your BFF or, one of your coworkers, that was confiding in you or something, right? So, in that sense, you're being true to yourself here with the Lover's card with Gemini. Okay. The twin soul within you. Gemini is known as the twins. Okay. And actually, I think right now you can see both Jupiter and Venus and Gemini out there. I think it's still visible. So it's kind of low on the horizon, just as the moon has been lately. So in case anyone had missed that blue moon, it's because it was low on the horizon. Okay. I was able to get some pictures of it. So I was, out in the middle of the dark, with my phone pointed towards my neighbor's house, because that's the direction it was. But I didn't want to get in the car necessarily. It's dark enough in my neighborhood that people are fairly decent with the, not having security lights, but not doing light pollution. You know what I mean? It's like everybody has to have security lights and cameras and all this stuff these days, but anyway, because people will try you, trust me. I want out, it says. Oof. So this could be them in this fighting position, not wanting to. Hey, relax. Knock it off. Knock it off. What is the matter? I'm doing a reading right now. Do you mind? Yeah, okay. I'm almost done. Yeah. It might be starting to rain some more here soon. I don't know. It was the thunder earlier. He doesn't really care for that. So you have the Lover's card here again. So I feel like anybody who's in a competition now wants out of it, but it's like the reason you're here, collective, because you got out of that competition and you were like, look, I have to put myself first. I have to do what's best for me. So I'm not going to jump through these hoops just to be who I'm supposed to be. Right? Oh, this person's saying, I am scared of rejection. Okay. So that could be one of these things. Maybe they've been done wrong before too with the Seven of Swords. That could be, a sign of somebody being non-committal, right? Especially with Sagittarius here, and that sign kind of gets that rap, right? But, as with most people who, use their intuition and their sixth sense, right? You have to think of yourself, well, what do they say? Rejection is God's protection, right? So, if this person doesn't want to make that foray into the next chapter, right, then what are you supposed to do, collective? I'll let you make that call, but obviously, what would you tell one of your besties? What would you tell a sibling, a cousin, a coworker, something of this nature, one of your teammates, you might be like, well, be like, hey, you're this Queen of Cups here. Yeah, sure, you got a big heart, but that doesn't mean you have to open it up to everybody all the time. Oof. DRUGS and alcohol. Yeah. And it's 8 of Cups on the bottom here, but it's like, you know, looking kind of sad. That's weird. How did that come out from the Chariot? Because the Chariot was on the bottom. Okay, we're flipping that around. Okay. So maybe this person is doing something that you feel like they wouldn't approve of, and that's why they're scared of this rejection here. This could also be something where it's like, it's something they're doing, but maybe they're just doing it out of habit, and they're like, yeah. And this is why they're having this identity crisis, because it's like, oh, well, if I'm not doing that, then I don't know who I am anymore, because, you know, I built it as part of my personality, right? You know, that's how some people are. Well, you know, where's the fun so-and-so person? Well, unless they have, you know, a 6-pack, they can't open up, right? Well, that might be an issue, right? That's just how some people cope with things, right? But, you know, if you're not 22 years old anymore, you might not feel like acting that way anyway. You know, when you're younger, there's a time to do those things. And, you know, sometimes people do those things in different order because, you know, maybe they, you know, got married young or had kids young or, you know, whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's plenty of adults I see out there enjoying their, you know, pre-retirement and retirement years that, you know, can do things in a safe way, right? Where some people might be like, oh, why are they doing that? Well, you know what? Maybe they were busy working while other people were out partying when they were young. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily feel like this is something that's unbreakable for them, but I do feel like they feel like it is part of their identity, right? This also might be one of those things. Yeah. Here it started with that. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I was, you know, if I don't see so and so anymore, you know, who am I going to talk to, or, you know, things of that nature. Okay, so this might be part of this 9 of Swords. If you're feeling any uneasiness, like say with regards to this person, or if they've been on your mind, okay, but this is part of why you know, you exercised your 6 of Swords and moved into the right direction. And sometimes the right direction feels awkward, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not the right direction. It just means it's a road you haven't been down before, right? You know, and you have to pay attention. It's like, oh, what's over there? What's over here? You know what I'm saying? Anyway. I don't know. Maybe we should get some. Maybe we should get some angel cards to top off this. See what's. So this kind of got spicy fast here. But collective, for you, I feel like you are, you know, you're more like you already have found yourself type thing. And you're like, well, this is the energy I'm putting off, then I must be doing pretty good, and I'm not going to go making big changes just because somebody doesn't like how, you know, somebody else's boobs look better in some tank top than mine. Like, who cares? That's their problem. They can go stare at it all they want. You know what I mean? There's people out here getting surgeries and stuff because of that, you know, to try and play on people's insecurities. And it's like, is collective. Okay, if you're the bestie, again, in this situation, what is the truth of the matter? You're going to say, look, you can do better than somebody who wants to try and change you over something very superficial. You know, so What is the name of that book? It's by Lundy Bancroft. And I mean, men could probably read this book too. But it's written, it's a male therapist who wrote this book, and I think it's called Why Does He Do That? Um, but one of the things in the book that basically he's saying is, don't make their problem your problem. And a lot of feminine energies, in this Queen of Cups, taking care of the home, taking care of the house, taking care of everybody's emotions, right? Well, if you really step into that Empress energy, you'll realize that they have to do that work on their own. And hey, they've already seen you try and fail many times, right? So what better teacher? You know what I mean? Like, what more do you need to do at this point, collective? Honestly. Before, they get a clue and say, well, maybe it's time that they figure it out who they are. Okay. Archangel Gabriel. This is interesting. I've never pulled this one yet. It says North Star, self-expression, creativity. The number 3. Your North Node might be significant. So, collective, for some of you, especially if you do follow astrology and stuff, check out your North Node, what that is. Okay. Because sometimes it's like we get these labels put upon us, right? Oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And other people jump on those labels as well. And it's just part of life that people like to categorize things. Okay. But if you start, reading about other options, right, it's not that, everything is BS. It's just a point of view. It's a matter of perspective. Okay. So if you do start doing something creative, maybe that's going to help you a little bit. Especially like painting, and you don't have to get like, the super fancy stuff. They have those like classes now, go to meetups and stuff, and, allow yourself to just be, right? And appreciate. Okay. And that in itself is difficult for, I don't care who you are. I think everybody goes through that. Okay. Archangel Azrael. Okay. It says here, transitions, life changes, death, and rebirth. Okay. So this could be one of these things where, again, with this 10 of Cups, like you're finding out things that, make you feel reborn, make you feel like you're moving in the way you need to with life, right? Treasure those things. And even if it's something small, like, take that as a win, right? Okay. Archangel Ariel. Environment, abundance, guardian of the earth. Okay. And this person down here saying better with their mind and then their heart. Maybe, especially in this season, in the summer season, maybe you're doing some gardening. Okay. Maybe you're connecting more with the earth by like going hiking, going canoeing, things of those nature, where you're seeing how you fit just as a human existing and breathing the air. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, Archangel Christiel, higher consciousness, light, and the Christ light here. Okay, so again, instead of, staying up at night worrying, you're like, look, I can celebrate a little bit. I can enjoy my life here. appreciate what I've gone through and what I have, okay, and look to the light. And here, literally, this person's saying it's dark without you. Yeah, because they haven't found their own light yet, maybe, okay? But here you are, right? And you're like, and I'm going to go over here where I can shine my light, and it's not going to be frowned upon. It's not going to be, you know, all these things that this person's going through right now, right? Okay. All right. Jesus, number 17. Forgiveness, compassion, the spiritual teacher. Okay. And sometimes, Clayton, I was thinking about this earlier. It's, you know, sometimes people don't want to accept things, and maybe they don't want to accept things because you're in love, and how would you understand blah blah, or you're not in love and how would you understand, or you're older, you're younger, you're this, you're that, you know what I mean? There's always somebody that's gonna find an excuse to compete with you, okay? But this other person is saying that they want out of that they don't, and you know, and sometimes that's what a lot of relationships are, right? Oh, well, we like to banter. Is it banter or is it picking at each other, right? Oh, we like to debate. Is it debating or is it arguing for the sake of winning an argument and then sometimes making your partner feel whatever, right? The need to be right. Archangel Rigel. Relationship healing, calm, harmony, right? And the people that were arguing with Jesus at the temple were probably sure that they were right about what they were talking about, right? But oh no, here comes this Jesus guy. So it says here, calm, harmony, right? So that's something where a Queen of Cups, right, who you may have dealt with more of a roller coaster of emotions, you can also deal with the happy times, right? Some people don't know how to handle happy times. It makes them uncomfortable. Again, just because that's the road you're on, right, doesn't mean you have to try and react the same way, right? Some people, it's like they want to bring that programming with them down the new road. Okay. And people sometimes use this to numb themselves from having to figure out a new emotional response, right? Okay. Guru Ram Das, Mr. Be here now guy, right? Humanity, spiritual practice, and elevation. Okay. Yeah, humility, knowing that we're part of the greater humanity, right? And with the same time with that, realizing that you are only one person. Where's the team of people that you would need to accomplish X, Y, and Z? So, yes, you may be an empress. Yes, you may have stuff under control, but that doesn't mean you can control everything, right? Okay, and with the Chariot here, that's more about saying, God has your back when you need it, right? Jesus take the wheel, okay? And he's like, yeah, I'll try it. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys are feeling this energy as well. I mean, the Seven of Swords did come out in the outcome. So I feel like for some of you, you might be, that kind of watching your back thing. But this even says here, relationship healing. Okay. So you, as a collective water energy, okay, you may need to work on your boundaries a little bit more so that you can enjoy that calm harmony, right? Because you're like, look, I worked hard to get this. You know, I want to be happy. You know, I have a right to that as well as every other, you know, schmuck out here walking around. So, you know, and there's all sorts of ways to do that too. Again, that's, you know, going down that road and realizing, okay, I've been down roads before. I'm sure I can handle it, but it looks different. So we're a little nervous. Right? Okay. I think that is all that I have for this reading. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Again, we had both the Gemini and the Cancer sign come out. So if you are those signs and have June birthdays, this reading may apply to you. Okay. But remember, not every single part of the reading may apply to you, right? Because this is a collective reading. Anyway, so until next time, please do manifest wisely. Thank you for those in the chat who have already liked the video. Remember to like the video, especially if you're in the chat today. And remember always to be kind to others in the chat as well, because it is a privilege that I allow on my channel. Not everyone allows the chat or comments, okay? But I kind of like seeing a space available for people to give their throat chakra a little bit of exercise, right? Because there's so many other situations in life where we're supposed to be quiet, right? So, you know, chit chat away, right? Anyway, do like the video. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video, but you can become a subscriber today. It costs you virtually nothing, right? Just your time, okay? So I will also never ask you, I do have a donation link, but I will never ask or demand donations, and I will never reach out to you via a messaging program trying to solicit a reading, okay? I do have an Etsy shop link where you can go and order a reading if you so desire. And that, you know, is just normal stuff. All the instructions are there. So that information is in the About section of my Manifest Wisely YouTube page. I also have a couple other pages if you're interested in other kinds of content. My Feel Better Guru page has cooking and lifestyle tips on it. And my Ophelia's Band channel has music that I have created and also some cover songs that I have done, as I've been involved with music since I was in the first grade. Of course, my school had it, but I started piano lessons when I was young and went on and off of that over the years. Every now and then I've taken breaks from it. But I do update that channel from time to time with some new content. So until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye-bye.